All right, hello. How's everybody doing today? As per usual, I'm your host, RichieT, also known as RichieT, coming at you live on this great Thursday. And as it's been per usual lately, I'm coming at you live with some Pioneer content. So I've really been testing a lot of this format because I'm going to the Invitational here in about a week and a half now. I was originally set on playing the Devotion deck, but unfortunately that deck's banned, so I gotta do some more testing, and I think I've got it down to 2 decks. One is with the deck you're gonna see today, which is Pioneer Burn, and the other deck I'm considering is Mono Green Ramp, which I'm gonna be doing some testing. Might stream for you guys this week. We'll see how my week ends up going. But let's hop into Pioneer Burn, shall we? So our mana base is pretty simple. We got 20 lands, and we got 4 Sacred Foundry and 4 Inspiring Vantage as just the best mana fixers in an aggressive Boros deck. Then we have 2 Battlefield Forge as extra untapped lands, a Clifftop Retreat just as like another land that won't deal us damage but also fixes our mana. A couple Ramunap Ruins to give us a little extra reach in our land base. And then just a good old hefty chunk of mountains here. So, that's our mana base. Pretty straightforward. Let's get on to the spell, or the creatures, shall we? So, we have 4 Monastery Swiftspear and 4 Soulscar Mage as the 8 1-mana prowess creatures. These are the core of pretty much all the red aggressive decks you're going to see here in Pioneer. And then we have 4 Eidolon of the Great Revel in the main. I think this card is really well positioned. I know I've been seeing a lot of lists move this card to the sideboard, but I think against the Nexus, the Phoenix decks, things like that, I think Eidolon's really going to shine in your main deck for you. Next up, we have some actual burn spells, and we have 4 Lightning Strike. Now, originally I was pretty against playing any number of Lightning Strike before you had your 8 1-mana spells in your deck. But with the banning of the Felidar Guardian combo, I think this card gains a lot more stock because of the fact of it being able to kill cards like Spell Queller or Reflector Mage out of the Collected Company, which I think is where mid-range decks are probably going to end up going. But we do still have 2 copies of Shock to help push a little extra damage through for cheap. We have 4 Skewer the Critics as the best lightning bolt for a deck like this. Wizard's Lightning doesn't quite work. We'd have to play a little bit less optimal creatures. And then the reason why we're splashing white is really basically for Boros Charm in the main deck. It's the only white card. We have some in the sideboard, but Boros Charm is really the reasoning why we're playing white. We have a little bit of card advantage and 4 light up the stage. This card's just really good. I know it's kind of a nombo with Eidolon, but in this format, I think it's fine. And then we have some prevention spells here. We have 4 Bone Crusher Giant, which prevents damage and is basically a 2-mana shock, but also a 3-mana 4/3 that when it becomes targeted deals 2 to our opponent. So the card's really strong. It's always at least a 2-for-1 just because it's a spell than a creature. So card's been pretty well. We have 4 Wild Slash, as this is the best shock in the format, the best 1-mana burn spell. The prevention comes up sometimes, but will come up a lot if we cast a Bone Crusher Giant. And these 8 cards should really help out our Nexus matchup as it helps us get around fogs. And then we have a couple Rampaging Ferocidons in the main just to try to stop life gain and stop our opponents from when they go wide. Now, in our sideboard we have some extra removal. Sorry about that, I had something caught in my throat. We have 3 Chained to the Rocks, which is basically the path to exile in this format. If you put it on a basic mountain, there's very few things that can actually blow it up to get them their creature back. So their creature should be gone for the most part forever. 2 Kozilek's Returns. This is mainly a hedge to the mono blue deck and decks playing things like Master of Waves. Master of Waves can be very hard for our deck to deal with otherwise. So we're playing a couple Kozilek's Return to sweep that card up. We have 2 Wear Tears as our artifact / enchantment hate. Gets around Leyline of Sanctity, gets around the things Emery might get back. Just a pretty flexible answer. Then we have some heavy hitters. We have 2 more Rampaging Ferocidons to really hit the you can't gain life or punish you for playing creatures on the head. And then we have 3 Rest in Peace as ways to deal with graveyards. And then we have 3 Experimental Frenzy for when we need to go long and just cast a lot more spells to try to burn our opponent out. Now that's the deck, but before we hop into our league, as per usual, I want to hop over to momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com and tell you guys to buy your singles from there. If you're looking for snow-covered basics or dig-through times, momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com has you covered. If you're watching this live on YouTube, thank you. Check down in that description box below for all the links I'm going to be talking about, but also try to tune in live to our Twitch sometimes. We'd really appreciate it, and it's always fun to interact with us live. For everybody watching on Twitch right now and on YouTube in the future, thank you guys. Try to give us a like on Facebook at Mom's Basement Games. Give us a follow on Twitter at Mom's Basement MTG. And also, try to check out some of our other YouTube videos where we have the best standard, modern, legacy, vintage, commander, pauper, and now pioneer content. On top of that, I would super appreciate it if you gave me a follow on Twitter. My Twitter's at RichieTMTG. I talk magic, memes, music, League of Legends, anything else you want to talk about, feel free to hit me up. I'm always willing to chat. If you're looking for other forms of social media to find us at, you can find us on Instagram at Mom's Basement Games. Or you can find me on Instagram at RichieT2196. But with that, how about we hop into a Pioneer League with some Pioneer Burn. Hey, how's it going, Berrig and Sully? Hot singles in your area. Get out of here with that. Not too bad. Just got done working, now I'm playing, gonna go ahead and play some Pioneer. Alrighty. We got ourselves our first match. We unfortunately lost the die roll. Still hit our opponent with the GLHF though. This hand's a little risky if we're against another aggressive deck. But I don't really think we can mulligan one drop with a bunch of spells, so we're going to go ahead and keep. Sulfur Falls tapped from our opponent. Means they're probably some form of aggressive deck. We're going to go ahead and play our Soul Scar and pass. So we have a lot of spells, a lot of removal in our hand. I'm guessing we're against, is it Phoenix if I had to take a guess? And my thought would be correct. Alright, so we're going to play our land here, attempt to go to combat. Our opponent doesn't choose to block. So we're going to go ahead and let him take one here. Then we will place another Skull Scar. And go ahead and skewer them. It's pretty unlikely that... It's actually not possible in this format for our opponent to flip their thing here, so... Ooh, another one. Alright, so here... I think we're going to shock this in. Attempt to go to combat. Swing with both. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So... if we... kill one, that puts them down to 10. If we shock them here, 13, 12, 11, 10, that puts them to 10. We Eidolon. But then we die if they flip their things. Yeah, this format's really sweet. Oh wait, I guess we don't die because we can put counters on it. So... 14, 13, 12... 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, I think we're going to wild slash one of the thing in the ices here. Deal our opponent 4. And then we're going to cast Eidolon. Because that's only 12. But they can respond with the opt. Alright, go ahead, opponent. Okay. So 4, 5, 6. We'll start by playing a Swift Spear. If they could have flipped, would they have? we'll swing out. See what they do here. We can always kill one of them with the Stomp side, or if they don't block, we can attempt to kill them with Boros Charm. But I feel like they probably have some type of removal spell. Thrill discarding Phoenix. Sure. So now do we go for lethal? Or do we try to kill a thing? I don't think so. So if we Boros Charm and they flip, we die. If we try to Bone Crusher, they flip and we still die. I think we actually die if we don't go for it anyways. Because, yeah. I think I was maybe supposed to try to kill the Awoken Horror the turn before instead of playing the Eidolon. Because if I go to try to kill this, then they just cast the spell and it won't get -2/-2 counters. So I think I might have played that wrong by playing the Eidolon there. Alright, how do we change sideboarding here? I think they drew into one of those spells off the opt. I don't think they had all of that when they opted end of turn. So K-Return doesn't seem good. Ferocidon doesn't seem great. Don't like Wear Tear here. Rip seems like it might be solid. But I'm not like sold on Rip. Chain to the Rock seems great. I don't really think we want to grind with Experimental Frenzy. Then we have 4 more cards. I don't know, because I think that I don't know. I think there might have been a reasoning. I'd have to like look back and think about it though. So it's not in our deck originally now. These chains and these rips. I think these shocks probably aren't great. And I think I just like don't want a bunch of rips. I think I might just not want rip at all and I might just want to try to race. Shock deals with Phoenix for a turn at least, which is what I need. And I think Shock is probably better than Skewer since Skewer has to be sorcery speed. Yeah. I think we're going to try this. I would like to be on the play. Yeah, this hand looks a lot better for this matchup. A lot less painful. Get Taylor on in there. No shock from them. So that means Swift Spear, Wild Slash is going to be free here. And then if we draw land, we get to double spell next turn. Hit him for 4 down to 13. What you got, opponent? A thing. Let's go to combat. Attack. No blocks. Just go ahead and Boros Charm you. In case they're playing like Dispel or something. Down to 5 they go, and we'll pass again. Is it Charm takes down a Swift Spear, but no land. We'll see if they block. They do this time. Do we deal with the thing in the ice here, or do we just try to burn them out? I think if we deal with the thing, we're likely to be able to burn them out next turn. We can also just cast a spell at their end of turn. Well, yeah, I know they can have counter magic, but I want to try to tap them out and make them use it. That way I can cast spells on my turn. But I kind of agree. I kind of like killing Thing in the Ice. Like, we're pretty likely to be able to kill them if we untap with our Swift Spear. Or if we untap and draw land. Another thing from our opponent. And still no land drop. That's awkward. Do we just run the same thing back? Or do we just try to burn our opponent here? It's always like the hard part with burn. I think we probably run the playback again. Same rule still applies. Is it charm? We still have the Boros charm and the skewer. Opponent ops. Puts on bottom. Did they find the land? They did not, so they opt again. They bottom and draw. Oof. And then Boros charm for the GGs. So rough game for our opponent. They stumbled on lands quite a bit there. Do we want to change anything on the draw? I think we just run it back. What do you think, chat? Yeah, I think we just run this back. I think we just don't want many sorcery speed spells. This hand's a little awkward with no 1-drop, but we have 2 Eidolons, which is like the best card in the matchup. I think we'll just start with a Sacred Foundry tapped and pass. Really awkward we drew another land there. Was pretty happy with 4. No thing, this means they probably just have an Is It charm. Go ahead and play out our Eidolon still. No, interesting. Sweltering Suns. Alright. That was not a card I expected. But it's good to know about. Another light up here for us. So I think we're just going to put this into play tapped, play our Eidolon. And then if they kill it next turn, we can just skewer light up. Our hand's been kind of clunky this game with a lot of spectacle cards, unfortunately, but that's kind of what we kept off of anyways. We kept off the Eidolons. Our opponent's going to haggle. Discarding a Phoenix. And then they pass. Alright, well, we'll start by going to combat. And trying to attack for 2. Opponent takes it. Alright, now we'll take 2 to spectacle our light up the stage. Strike Soul Scar. We'll take another 2 and cast a Soul Scar here. Then we will play a mountain and pass in case our opponent tries to Is It Charm something. Sure, you can go ahead and opt opponent. Another opt. Eidolon's always been really good against Phoenix, even in the modern decks. And our opponent finds the Wild Slash for Eidolon. The bird comes back. And we're going to go ahead and... We're actually going to just strike our opponent. Because we have Lethal Burn in hand. We will strike our opponent. So Eidolon just carried us this game pretty much. Like, basically what I expected it to do. And we burn our opponent out pretty easily there. I think Phoenix is a favorable matchup with Eidolon in our deck. Especially main board. Even though we happen to lose the game 1, unfortunately. We won the die roll this time. GLHF to our opponents. And I would like to be on the play. Yeah, this hand's a little awkward. Because our stage is weird. But I think, again, Eidolon is a really powerful card in this deck. So I think keeping a hand based off Eidolon is something you're going to do quite often. Op mulligans to 6. Ooh, mulligans to 5. Alright, well, we're going to go Inspiring Vantage Pass with the plan to shock our opponent end of turn. Go ahead and shock and cast Eidolon. Just want to get him out as early as possible. Alright, our opponent has the shock form, which is fine. And they cast a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Seven. I think I don't want the chances of my opponent cantripping. Because they're so low on cards. Maybe the shock turn one was a little greedy, though. Alright, here I think we are going to stomp our opponent. Then Spectacle light up the stage to try to hit a land drop. Alright, we hit, but unfortunately we have to shock. Then we get to Spectacle again. Alright, pass back to the opponent. It is kind of unfortunate. We're kind of hoping to draw an untapped land for turn. Another Dreadhorde. Well, for a mulligan, our opponent's hand has worked out pretty well. Okay. I think we want the creature more. Hopefully their last card in hand isn't a spell. Alright. And we'll pass. Yep. So we take 4 here. But we get to kill their Swift Spear and then cast a 4/3 next turn. Opponent's getting weird over there. So we're going to stomp and then we're going to play Bone Crusher. Which if our opponent wants to Wild Slash it, they do have to take 2. A hard cast light up the stage. No, was not the exile. So they hit Mountain Shock. Arcanist might have just carried them out of this game. It does gain insane value. Yeah, we have to block it because they have the... No, the only card they can cast is a Tarka's Command. Oh, they didn't even... wait, yeah, they did attack with the Blister. I think we just have to kill the bigger creature. Conserve our life total a little bit. Okay. So we cast a Bone Crusher. Then we cast Eidolon. I mean, if they hit a green source here, we're dead anyways. Go to combat. Attack for 4. We're going to hold this mountain for now and pass. Oh, wow, they hit a lightning strike. So that means we're locked out of spells. Yeah, I mean, Dreadhorde really won them this game, if they win it. Yeah. Dreadhorde's just like a must-kill on sight kind of card. So what do we want for the mirror? Don't think Kozilek's return is very good. I don't really think we want Ferocidon. Wear Tear doesn't seem great. Even though Arcanist was the reason they won the game, I think bringing in a card like Rip is just wrong. I think we're just supposed to try to kill it. I think we're supposed to trim 2 shocks. I'd like to take out Skewer, but I think... Actually... Is Bone Crusher more awkward than the other cards? This is what I'm thinking right now. I think it's kind of hard to turn into a control. Don't think Boros Charm is good here. I could see that. So you think we do something like this? I do think Boros Charm can have a lot of utility, though. But I think it probably is our weakest spell. Yeah, we're going to try this. And then on the draw, we'll swap Eidolon for Boros Charm. This hand is unfortunately not keepable. We will go ahead and mulligan. So we send the Forge to the bottom if we keep this. Our opponent mulliganed. I don't really want to go to 5, but I don't like our only plays being Eidolon and Bone Crusher. Like, I think I can imagine a 5 that looks better. But I can also imagine a 5 that looks a lot worse. What do you guys think? Man. Burn decks are always really hard to mulligan with. For the reasoning of, your cards really matter. But I just don't know if these cards are going to matter enough. Yeah, I think we're going to try it. I'm not in love with this, but... Battlefield, or Sacred Foundry tapped, go. No one drop from them also is good. We're going to go ahead and run out the Eidolon, which will probably get shocked. And then, depending on what our opponent does, we can either Bone Crusher or Stomp. Yikes. Alright. So we're going to attack. Alright, our opponent chooses not to block so they can take 2. Then we're just going to cast a Bone Crusher Giant. Which will hopefully get in the way of the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay. Okay. Then we'll attempt a Spectacle light up the stage. Really didn't want to hit a land there. So we'll Swift Spear pass here. Yep. Those were the kind of spells I was worried about game 1. Really? Wow. Eight of our 20 lands in the top 12 cards. Not exactly where we want to be. Alright, we'll go to combat. We'll pass the turn to our opponent. So now they're going to get to attack and draw 2 cards here. That's a shame. They hit Swift Spear, Rootbound Crag. So we take 3, 4. They can't attack all out, otherwise they die. But they probably just attack with both Dreadhordes and flashback both their card draws. Sure. Boros Charm would be great here. To be fair, literally like any spell would be really good here. Because if I had like any spell, they wouldn't have been able to Searing Blood me so many times. Alright, well, end of turn, we're going to Ramunap them. We're going to go to combat because we will get one of our opponent's dread hordes off the battlefield. I think we have to just flame wild slash this. I didn't play a land for turn. That was dumb. That's gonna really matter if we draw an experimental frenzy. Here's the hoping. Yep. Oh wait, then they're dead to Ramunap actually. Good old ruins. Wow. Can't believe we actually pulled that game out because of Ramunap ruins. Wow. That was quite a game. Alright, so on the draw, I don't think we want Eidolon. I think we want Boros Charm. Do you guys agree? Or do you think, like, Rips or Ferocidons might be better? I think I like Boros Charm the most. I definitely know I don't want Eidolon on the draw. Eidolon's a, like, on the play against aggressive decks thing. Yeah, that's true. Because of Lightning Strike seeing a lot of play, I think Ferocidon is pretty bad. I think Rip is just too dead most of the time. So I think it is, unfortunately, Boros Charm in on the draw. Which is fine. Boros Charm does give us a lot of reach. This hand is perfect. Keep. Opponent shocks and plays a Soul Scar. I think we're going to lead on a Swift Spear. It means if they kill it next turn, we can just Swift Spear shock. I will not be blocking. Okay. So here we're going to Swift Spear. Shock the untapped one. Then attack for 4. Alright, pretty even battle so far. Crash through. Is this the Arcanist? It's a light up. Hitting Swift Spear, crash through. So we're going to go to combat, attack. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can just put our opponent dead to skewer. Yeah, I think that's the play. Just like say, make my opponent 14 me next turn. Alright, our opponent's going to crash through, so that's a pretty good sign we don't just die. We answered their creatures to where they didn't, unfortunately. And I think that's the reason we ended up winning this game. I mean, sure, but I don't think I'm supposed to play around double Atarka's command. Like, I think I'm supposed to make them have it there, though. Alright, starting off with a pretty easy 2-0. This deck feels pretty powerful. GLHF opponent, I would like to be on the play. I think this hand's a little too land heavy and doesn't really do anything before turn 3, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan. This hand's not great, but we have a 1-drop, so we'll keep in bottom a mountain, because the Ramunap Ruins at least do stuff if we flood out. Hiya. Get ourselves a little F6 value. Breeding pool, shocking. Is this a goose or is this a... It's a goose. Honk, honk. Yike. I was told I had to honk whenever my opponent played a goose. No secrets here, opponent. This isn't quite how we want our turn 1 Gilded Goose by our opponent games to go. Oh, it's Bant Spirits. Yeah, I mean, that's what the Ferocidons in the side are for. Are for, like, the the food ducks. We'll definitely be bringing in the other 2 Ferocidons here. Oof. That's not the worst. Opponent does not get in there. Hopefully I don't have like Spell Queller or Mausoleum Wander or Supreme Phantom here. I think we're just so behind we have to just like try to do whatever we can to catch back up. I don't get why you don't Spell Queller there to eat the Skewer. I guess if they're worried about me actually having anything in hand. Second verse, same as the first, they say. Make a food. Yeah, something Aaron and I have talked about is if we should potentially have more than just the Rampaging Ferocidons to stop life gain. If we should, if we should have 1 or 2 Skull Cracks somewhere in the 75 also. Mainly for matchups like this. Reflector Mage. Down to 14. We will Rammy Nap and pass. Oh, you goose, that's so gilded. Yeah, get in there with that goose. Do it. Coward. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this one, unfortunately. Not this game, at least. We have tools on the sideboard. Alright, we're going to go ahead and Rammy Nap our opponent. Sure. Advantage into play and pass. Just for 5. Can't block creatures in the air, so I will take it. Yep. Yeah, we lost that one pretty handily. Food has made burn decks feel so bad in like every format, in my opinion. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, because I think the fact that like pretty much every color combination has hate for decks like this is a decent thing for the game, and especially this format in general. Really don't like Skewer against the Spell Queller deck. Maybe Kozilek's Return doesn't actually do enough. A lot of their things have 3 toughness. Maybe that's a reason against Bone Crusher Giant, too. I think on the draw we'll bring Shocks in over probably some Bone Crushers. Wait, why is it 62 now? Weird. I think Eidolon's pretty weak to these decks. It's not going too bad. We're 2-0 right now. Down a game against Bant Spirits right now. Trying to figure out the best way to sideboard. I think it might be this. Spirits does not seem like one of our better matchups, that's for sure. I think we just really need a creature. Like, I think this hand just isn't going to get it done, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan. Yeah, like this hand, I think this hand can get the job done. We're actually going to go ahead and bottom the shot, because I'd rather keep the 3 damage spells. I don't think K-Return kills enough out of Spirits, does it? Like, we've seen Mausoleum Wanderer and Goose that it killed, but it doesn't kill, like, any of their... It doesn't kill Spell Queller, Reflector Mage. It doesn't kill any of the Lords. Oh. Maybe K-Return's better than having the Shocks in our deck, but I feel like Shock being able to kill a turn 1 Goose is pretty important. I think we need to be somewhat proactive. Yeah, I could maybe see bringing in the Kozilek's Returns over the Boros Charms. How do you feel about Eidolon in this matchup, Chad? Do you think you'd want Eidolon? I thought it just seemed like it might be kind of clunky against the deck full of 2/3s that also bounce it or just take it with Deputy. Yeah, I'm not, this list actually came from Aaron, and I meant to mention it at the beginning, but shout out to Aaron. I always cut it in Modern because of Vile. That's true. I know that they don't have Vile in this format. Maybe we were just supposed to chain to the rocks so that way we can keep our 4/3. Bricking on lands here is pretty rough. They have a collected company too. Yeah. I think these matchups are typically pretty rough for burn. I haven't I'm just not even gonna attack into it. Yep. No, we don't have any Searing Bloods in our sideboard, which I'm not 100% sure how I feel on. I think Searing Blood might be important enough to want still. I also think we might just potentially want something like Lava Coil or Chandra Torch of Defiance. Da, da, da. I think we have to go after the Lord here. Fry seems like a pretty good idea. Because I think most of the things we're going to want to hit that we would want to... Yeah, the only awkward thing with Fry is the fact that it doesn't kill Oko. But I think our deck's typically going to be a dog against Oko decks anyways. I'm not sure if you were here for the beginning, but we lost them just kind of making food with Gilded Goose in game 1. The first two matchups were Is It Phoenix and Gruul Prowess. we have to try to get lucky with this light up the stage. Yeah, it was Dreadhorde Arcanist, Atarka's command. Your 8. I think we're just dead. Your 8, what do you call it, effects? Your 8 card draws and Crash Through and Warlord's Fury. And then he had all the 1-drops. He had Searing Blood in his sideboard, because we definitely got Searing Blooded. Still chooses to block. Go ahead. Gets in for 4. That means they definitely have another creature. Yeah, it actually looked pretty good. Man. Do we try to kill the Selfless Spirit? Yeah, definitely shoot me the link. It seemed solid enough, at least. I didn't have a lot of luck with the Is It list, but that one might feel a lot better. I know the Lotus Box guys have actually been on Is It Prowess, though. So I might need to head over to their Patreon and try to get a peek at that deck list. So 7. We're not dead to a Lord. I think we try to stomp this because we're gonna need our 3 damage spell. Yeah, they have a podcast called MTG Grindcast, and I listened to a lot of it because it was the podcast that actually talked about Josh when he got that top 32 with Boreos, and they were talking about it on the episode that came out. It came out either Monday or Tuesday. They recorded it because it was after the banning. Blood/K return also hits Rattle Chains. That's fair. I didn't think about Rattle Chains because I haven't seen any, but that's a reasonable thought. I think we just bricked down our 3rd land here a little too much. Yeah, kind of unfortunate, but it's Magic. Sometimes you get varianced out. Yeah, I know they were talking about, they were on 9 1-drops. It was like 9 1-drops and Young Pyromancer, I think is what they were saying their threats were. And then they had, against on X-Mage had Chains. Are you talking about Burn and Chain to the Rocks, or... I'm not sure what you mean by chains there. Oh, Spirits Rattle Chains. Got it now. Yeah, I assume it's a card they play. I don't see why they wouldn't. It's a card that's often a one-of in Modern, and I think it's a pretty good spirit, so we're going to go ahead and keep. The old Gooserton. We're going to go ahead and Soulscar pass here. Yeah, I would be surprised if they exclude Rattle Chains in this format. Well, this is awkward. I suppose Bone Crusher on the Long Tusk Cub next turn stops them from being able to kill our Soul Scar if we block. So I think we stomp the Goose here, so that way they can't gain a bunch of life. Go to combat, attack, and pass. A lot of Gilded Goose floating around, it looks like. This deck seems sweet, though. It looks like Teamer Energy, probably. Alright, well, we're going to go ahead and... Yeah, I think... I don't know. When I tested the as a list, it didn't feel very good to me, but I'm also willing to admit that the people who play for Lotus Box are probably a lot smarter, and their build was probably better than mine. So I would be very interested to get a peek at their list. I know for sure it revolved around the... I know it revolved around, wow, that's pretty bad, because that means it goes to 5. I know it revolved around the cantrips, the creatures that I mentioned. We are just getting demolished by this deck. Wow. Stomping it doesn't even save our creature. We started off with an easy 2-0, but Burn is not looking good right now. Oh, because fighting it also puts counters on it. See, I knew Stomp would put counters on it, but I thought that they would just be able to sack the food and then still... I think fighting does, right? Control would deal non-combat damage to a creature an opponent controls. Put that many -1/-1 counters on. Yeah, I didn't actually realize that. So it was correct to stomp the wolf. Magic's weird. That was a punt. I should have just stomped the Rogue Refiner there. Because it doesn't die now because of the +1/+1 counter to where the Prowess trigger would have countered it. Yep. Take 5 off the cub here. We need to start getting some Bone Crushers down. Yeah. I mean, just take your Teamer trade binder and put it into a game, I guess. Yeah. It's working out pretty well against us. Yeah, I mean, we're dead. The good old Gilded Goose coming back at us again. I think this is a matchup where K return's probably decent in. Does not seem like a rip matchup. Eidolon seems fine. Maybe this just isn't a Boros Charm matchup. We board out Boros Charm a lot. It's potentially like... It might not... I don't know. I like the sideboard options we get. Like, I like Chain to the Rocks, for example. What else do we take out? I think Skewer's probably not good enough. I actually don't think that there's a time we can really I don't think there's going to be a time we can Kozilek's return them, is there? It would have to be with the Cub trigger on the stack. Yeah, it is good against Goose and Rogue Refiner. Maybe we don't really want Frenzy because, well, I think Frenzy can outgrind them. Yeah. I think we're going to bring in 2 Frenzies and 1 K return. Yeah. I'm not sure. These fair decks are always really hard for burn decks. Because their card quality is just, like, a notch above yours. This hand is not good. This hand seems pretty good, though. We don't have as many tools to board big as we did back in Standard. Man, I have no idea how to bottom with this. Yeah, Aaron and I were talking, we feel like Stomp might be, or Bone Crusher Giant might be better. But I have thought we might want like 2 in the sideboard. I'm just not sure if it's better than Ferocidon or not. This is a really tough, like, decision on what to bottom. Because I think we're going to need the Frenzy. But at the same time, I think curving out's really important. Like, I think it's either Ferocidon or Frenzy. I think it's the Ferocidon, the more I'm thinking about it. Because it's the part of the... Yeah. Alright, we're going to go ahead and Soul Scar pass. Attune with Aether for our opponent. Okay. I think we have to just try to play the removal game. I don't think we can just try to burn our opponent out. Heart of Kirin. Maybe we can. It'd technically be at 9 right now. Maybe it was right to fire off one of the spells in general because of the frenzy in our hand as well. You got it. That's kind of reasoning to hold on to it. And pass back. Questing Beast. I think we're going to shock here so we can stomp plus cast Bone Crusher. This way, if our opponent wants to block, they have to... Or if they want to not get blocked, they have to crew. And I think we're definitely in for this trade. Rogue Refiner. And a Goose. Alright. Time to see what Frenzy can do for us. Oh, wait, no. We will chain your Rogue Refiner. Another Goose from the opponent. I was probably supposed to set a stop in my upkeep so I could cast that. can't believe I'm about to chain to the rocks a goose. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do. I agree. I think the goose was the correct call. Oof. Don't really want to sack Frenzy. I think I'd rather sack some Ramunaps here. Or a Ramunap at least. Whirler Virtuoso. Making some Thopters. Crew and Heart to get on in there. We're going to stomp the token. Lightning Strike the Virtuoso. I think we have to cast this Eidolon. And just hope they don't have anything. Oh, with the foods, that might have... Oh, okay. If they're going to slash it, that's totally fine. Alright, well... We'll slash the token. Strike them. And cast a Ferocidon. Play our land. And pass. Alright, Frenzy, Frenzy definitely pulled us through there. Do we want to change anything on the draw? I think Kozilek's Return is probably better than Bone Crusher on the draw. Yeah, I think I had a couple awkward sequencing things. Like I should have, instead of drawing that first Bone Crusher, I think we were supposed to Stomp. And then I think we would have shocked in our upkeep probably. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. That's close. I could see cutting 2 Eidolons. With us trying to go late with Frenzy. I think I'm pretty happy trying this, though. What do you think of this here, Chad? Think it's fine? Yeah, I think so. I just think Skewer is really a really awkward removal spell, which is how we want to treat our burn spells in this matchup for the most part, is as removal. No turn one goose, you say? Alright, well, think we are. That's true, we do know about Radiant Flames. Maybe Radiant Flames was reason to bring in a couple Boros Charms for the Indestructible mode. Not quite the hits we want. Oko's pretty good. Alright. I think we're casting Soul Scar. And attacking the opponent for 1. Attune with Aether from our opponent. Getting a Forest. Sure. Putting Oko to 1. That's actually a really interesting line. Typically, my instance is to go to try to kill them because if you can kill Oko, you can typically do enough. But that's also with prowess and not burn. So we strike both, kill Oko versus... Yeah. Ooh, I hope I get an instant before they get to go to blocks. Because that was almost bad. Sure. Can't say I expected Stubborn Denial out of their deck. That is a Pioneer Legal Magic the Gathering card. God, I hate Oko. I wish they never printed this freaking card. We need to draw like a frenzy if we even want to have an attempt to win this game. You got it, dude. So I can definitely see wanting to use all my resources on Oko. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I guess that's stuff that they can play in this format. I don't know how our opponent's ever gonna beat the card Nexus of Fate, but they are allowed to do what they do, as they say. This hand's really good. I would like to keep. Plains Thraben Inspector. Could be a lot of things, probably White Weenie if I had to take a guess. You are correct. Stubborn Denial would do work in that matchup. Caved in the truth. I just didn't know what to do. I'm gonna pass with the plans to lightning strike their smuggler's copter. Why do I register red ducks? Yep. You crewed your copter, alright. I enjoy your Thraben Inspector to Fairy Time Reveler Smuggler's Copter deck opponent. kill your Teferi. And I will then pass the turn with the plans to hopefully kill your smuggler's copter. You know, I mean, people can do whatever in Pioneer, dude. This format's still the Wild West. It's a deck I've had my eye on. I'm not sure. I definitely won't get to it before the... I could have seen that coming, I suppose. That card actually makes sense with what our opponent's been doing. Yep. You have a Teferi Time Reveler again to bounce your Spell Queller. Our opponent chooses not to crew Smuggler's Copter. Alright. I guess I'm an idiot for not playing Eidolon the Great Revel, but I figured we weren't going to be able to race the Smuggler's Copter if I did that. Now what? I suppose we yeah. Trying to figure out which is more likely that they'll bounce, Rampaging Ferocidon or Bone Crusher. I think it's Ferocidon. So now we pass the turn. They crack their clue. Hey, how's it going, Siggy? It was going well, and then we queued into the mid-range decks. Yep. We go down to 8. I don't even know if we can realistically... what we can even realistically do. if we Crusher, Strike. Yeah. Kind of into just going to the next game. I'm with you, Chad. Kozilek return seems great. I know we've seen Smuggler's Copter, but I don't realistically think we have enough targets for this. Skewer seems hella awkward against Spell Queller. Rip doesn't seem like where we want to be. Yeah, we maybe could have played on there. Heck yeah, that's awesome, dude. Feather's really good, I think. Can we realistically expect to try to outgrind this deck with a Frenzy? Yeah, we just... I can see that. We're just, like, supposed to board out all of our sorcery speed spells. Heck yeah, you totally should, dude. That'd be awesome. I'd definitely give it a read for you. Yeah. Is this really a Frenzy match? I don't know. I just can't really realistically see us outgrinding them. Maybe we trim a Boros Charm too. Eidolon might be the outs because they play poorly against T3 Fairy. I think I like Eidolon against Teferi. I can buy that we might just not want Ferocidon. Man, I hope I beat the clock. I, in fact, beat the clock. I don't really think God's Willing is what Burn's looking for. It just doesn't work really well with, like, it protects our creatures, but we're just trying to get our damage in with our creatures. We're not really trying to keep our creatures going even more. I think we're going to keep this, bottom the Sacred Foundry. Copy. Alright. Let's go ahead with a Soul Scar and pass. Alright, we're going to start by going to combat. Attacking for 1. Then we'll go ahead and play an Eidolon. Excuse me, sorry about that. Opponent casts a Selfless Spirit. we will then go ahead and shock. Our opponent will take 4 down to 13. And we'll go to 16 to cast another Soul Scar. Man, it's starting to really turn over into more of the winterish part right now here in Michigan, and it's really affecting my allergies a lot. Anytime the seasons change, my allergies really kick in. Teferi. You got him. Bounces Eidolon. Alright. So here we're going to kill Teferi, one our opponent. Yeah, I'm not sure how much snow we got. Where I live, it didn't actually snow. But going more up to where I work, there was like some snow on the ground. Old Gids. If we kill that, put our opponent down to 4. Okay. I think we kill the Gideon here. Our opponent is dead to our burn spells in hand if they cast anything that costs less than 3 because of Eidolon. No spell. Smells like a spell queller, probably. They could just make a token with Castle. If that's their play, we just shock it before they get to block.
Nice.
Sure. So can't do anything about that, so we'll let them block. Does this trigger on just their creatures? You control, yeah. Versus, we put them down to 4, 8. We can put them to 1. I think I like that. Actually, I'm going to let damage happen, that way we don't take anything off the Eidolon. And then strike them here before they get to untap. Now we have... Hopefully we draw land so we can chain to the rocks lightning strike. Gideon. Make a dude. Go down to 10. I didn't have anything. Alright, game 3.
Is this your last game?
Yeah.
How you doing?
2-2 right now.
Nice.
This deck has a hard time with mid-range decks.
Yeah. I'm gonna run to get some TV. You gonna be here when I get back, or you want anything, or no? I'm just gonna get food on the way home.
I'll probably just grab some on the way home.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, though.
Good luck, kill him dead.
And that's the plan. 5-color Super Friends. That sounds sweet. We do have, like, the Planeswalker Collected Company in this format. I can see that being pretty good. Now, let's consider how we sideboarded. Do we want to change anything at all now that we've seen Gideon and Eidolon? Or Gideon and Avacyn? Don't worry, Brad, I won't tell him that. Yeah, this matchup seems... It seems like it's important for us to get out of the gates early. Yeah, I think we're just going to submit it back. I think this hand probably isn't going to be good enough. I think it's just going to be too slow, and Eidolon isn't guaranteed to do much on the draw. Our opponent mulled to 6 also. Yeah, I think we're going to mulligan. Yeah, this hand looks a lot better. Send back the Boros Charm. Glacial Fortress tap for our opponent. We're gonna Inspiring Vantage Swift Spear. Their only 1-drop might actually be the Thraben Inspector. Nothing turn 2. We'll attack here. And then we'll go ahead and cast an Eidolon. Nothing from our opponent. We'll go ahead and try to attack for 2 here. Or for 3. Yep. Smelled out the smell queller. That's what we're going with today. Deck also could have Verdict. Good thinking. I didn't think about Verdict. Something I think I could see us wanting in this deck is... I think we really want like some fries. Or something along those effects. I think we're just going to go ahead and Spectacle Light up here. Okay. Those are solid hits. Good call on the Verdict. Just Boros Charm and strike our opponent. Gideon make a 2-2. Lands were not what we were really looking for here. I think we're going to go with Soulscar Pass here. Opponent's got to get in with Gideon. We'll take 7. Man. We are horrendous at top decking. If they have anything they can flash in, it's going to be a flyer, and I think we're going to die anyways. Yeah. Rough beats. I think we needed like 1 or 2 more spells there. And I think we could have won this game. But it is what it is. Burn seems fine. It's kind of awkward when you expect a mid-range meta. I think that's when Burn doesn't really shine. Thoughts on the deck list? Overall, I'm actually pretty happy with this main. I really like where the main deck is. Bone Crusher Giant was actually pretty good. But in the side, I think at least one of these frenzies should probably be like a Chandra or potentially going like 2 fries over like this and a Rest in Peace maybe. I think I could see that. Overall, it's not bad. It's awkward not having a lot of 3 mana damage though. It really messes up your math count for how you can burn your opponent out, having shocks instead of bolts. So just something to keep in mind if you do consider playing this deck in paper. Which, if you do, I recommend you buy your cards from momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com. If you're looking for anything from snow-covered basics to dig-through times, momsbasementgames.tcgplayerpro.com has you covered with everything you would need. If you're watching this on YouTube in the future, check down in the description box below for all the links that I'm going to be talking about. But also try to tune in live and interact with us on Twitch as Detroit sports fan, aka Chad, and Brad and Siggy have been doing this whole time with us. On top of that, if you're watching live on Twitch right now or on YouTube in the future, we super appreciate that. We would also really appreciate it if you gave us a like on Facebook at Mom's Basement Games, gave us a follow on Twitter at Mom's Basement MTG, or checked out more of our YouTube channel, where you can find the best standard, modern, legacy, vintage, commander, pauper, and now pioneer content. On top of that, I would super appreciate if you all gave me a follow on Twitter. My Twitter is at RichieT MTG. I talk magic, memes, League of Legends, music, anything else you want to talk about, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I'm always willing to chat. We could talk about Star of Extinctions on Twitter. I like that card. Don't really like that card in Burn. I did see a sweet Star of Extinction Boros Reckoner deck, though. On top of that, if you're looking for other forms of social media to find us at, you can find us on Instagram at Mom's Basement Games, or you can find me on Instagram at RichieT2196. And with that, I think I'm going to end up heading home, getting me some food, and maybe diving in a little more into some different Pioneer decks to try out. In Feather you play Star of Extinction? I guess you can, like, God's willing to give it protection from red. That's actually pretty cute. Interesting. But, with that, I hope you all have a wonderful night.